Hey, welcome back, everybody. John here at Havoc Maker Studio, and wow, is that light bright? Goodness gracious, there we go. Sorry for the dark atmosphere here. Overhead light, I just popped a bulb, and so this is where we're at. So welcome back to the show. This is Havoc Maker Studio, as I just said, and FMP Wargamers. We're going to kind of go over Grunts a little bit more, we're going to speculate on the future of grunts in the game. So I wanted to talk about it earlier in the previous video that I put up, or I guess maybe the follow-on video, whichever one of these videos gets first. This is a continuation, so a sequel, or it's the prequel. I don't know. You guys can do it, and if it drives you crazy, put a comment down below. So. Let's talk about the grunts. Let's just get into a little bit more about the grunts. So they came out with 2 panels to play on the Atomic Mass Games webpage for the grunts in a general view, which we're going to talk about now, and then the shield agents for Nick Fury, which I just did a video on that you are probably watching right after this or already watched, depending on if it's a prequel or a sequel. So the grunts, let's talk about them. So they are mechanically tied to the character, so they do not deploy on their own. They don't have their own threat value or their own point value. They are essentially, to use kind of a regular gaming term, would be they are summoned or called, radioed in, or smoke bombed in, whatever you want to call it. Sexy ninjutsu, sexy jutsu, whatever you want to call it. Character, that's how they come into play. So they are very similar to how Infinity Stones are now used in the game, and that might be why these might have taken some time to come out, is because they revamped how they did Infinity Stones. They're now character equipment cards instead of taking up part of your 10-man roster. So these don't take up part of that 10-man roster. They don't even start the game on the table. You actually have to spend power. In Nick Fury's case, he has to spend 2 power. That's what we know so far, to bring in some shield agents. So they don't enter the battlefield. They're not on your roster or your squad. They can't even take actions without their parent character calling the shots. So if Nick Fury goes down, they're out. They're gone. But if they're gone, Nick Fury is not gone. So he's the boss because he can just radio some more in. And that's one of the cool things about, at least right now, what we're seeing with the grunts. And we'll probably see this carry on over, because I think that's the whole premise of the grunts, is to be able to keep summoning them in. So you summon them in, you lose them. Nick Fury's not going to worry because he's got a whole helicarrier full of them. And if you bought that, or going to be buying that Quinjet, he just calls them in. Quinjet zooms up. This is narrative here, not actual. If you have the Quinjet, it's already on the table. But narrative speaking, Quinjet zooms in. They all rope down. Look, they got some convenient ropes already on the base. And you drop them on their objectives. And from what we've read so far, is that they cannot contest secure objectives, but they can immediately, upon being summoned or called in, is grab the extract token. Okay, this is very important. It says it automatically gets you that extract token, and if you deploy them late enough or strategically enough, you might be able to secure that objective before the end of that round, that turn, and be able to score those victory points. So this is really, really cool. So these guys are not powerhouses by any stretch of the imagination. So get that out of your mind. They are very weak on defenses. They only have 2 health. They got 1 on defenses. This is what we've seen so far. And even their attacks, like the shield agents have, like, I think it's a range 3, 2 or 3 pistol attack that only does 4 dice, potentially 4 dice worth of damage at a 0 cost. Now there are some buffs that you can get from Nick Fury, but really these are more of a support. I mean, he's really, right now what we're seeing with Nick Fury, he's really a good support character. These are going to be great for those extract missions, because you always have an extract, you always have a secure mission, so there's always two missions going on, and this is at least something that you can. You're almost doubling up your characters here, and this gives you some pretty good potential to interfere with your opponent, provided he doesn't have grunts as well. How this is going to play out in the meta or even on the regular gameplay, I don't know. But knowing Atomic Mass games and how well they balance this game over other ones, and yes, I realize that Marvel Crisis or Games Workshop games are much more better balanced now, but Marvel Crisis Protocol stepped in, was balanced right off the start, still continuing to balance, and if they find an imbalance, they address it immediately. Unlike Games Workshop, who wants to sell more models before they address the issues. But we'll talk about that in another video. All right. So what these grunts can do, as already mentioned, they can go up and capture objectives, just the extract objectives, which makes sense because you want to go up, rescue the civilians, get them out of harm's way while all the supervillains and the superheroes are duking it out in the streets or on the spaceport or wherever it is that they are battling. So the narrative wise and game mechanic wise, it all syncs up. This is really such a very cool idea. I'm so glad that they finally included it. And this might make way for future, let's call it future game modes, very similar to Ultimate Encounters that a lot of people do like to play, maybe once, not all the time, or the open play events. And these are just alternate ways to play the game, a little bit more narrative themed. But I foresee a possibility later on, maybe another year, maybe 2023 sometime, that Atomic Mass Games for Marvel Crisis Protocol miniature game is to come out with a larger scale battle, to where instead of having a small squad, you might have your full 10-man roster out there battling it out versus just a roster of like 4 to 5 models as an alternate game mode, not as the standard game mode. So let's put that out there. What Marvel Crisis Protocol achieves on the skirmish level is a great balanced game that's really quick to play, easy to understand, but has a lot of complexities that a lot of games right now, tabletop miniature games, lack. But it does. I think that's the core strength of Marvel Crisis Protocol. So don't panic if you're like, oh, they're going to ruin the game. That's me speculating, and I don't even know if it would be good. I don't even know if it's possible. But we'll see. We'll see in the near future, or the far future, I should say. The other thing about grunts is, fortunately, and I guess fortunately, unfortunately, depending on how you look at it, is that you're not going to see swarms of them out there. You can only have one grunt unit on the table on your side at one allied grunt unit at any time. So if I'm running Daredevil and or Elektra and the hand ninjas, I don't know how that mechanic works yet. Do you have to have both characters? Is it either or is it just one specific? And the ninjas, like Daredevil and the ninjas, which I think that might be how it ends up being. And I have also Nick Fury Jr. and the Shield agents. I'm going to have to be very conscious of which ones I want to field. There's probably some good possibilities there. Like, I just managed to extract the token with my Shield agents, but they got wiped out. But they managed to toss the objective in a direction that's beneficial to me. You'll have to watch the other video, or if you've already read about what that means. And then on that turn, I lost those agents. Well, there's no grunts on the table, but I've got Daredevil here. Smoke bomb. That's what I'm calling it. Ninjas appear, grab the objective. I mean, I could see some very interesting interactions going on here. I don't think it's overbalanced, but I could definitely see passing the ball. The only other thing I'm concerned with is if, let's say, I brought in some shield agents this turn, and during the course of gameplay this turn, I lose my shield agents. Can I summon ninjas if I have that set up in my squad. Summon ninjas on the turn once I activate Daredevil later, and have them on the table. The shield agents are not on the table, or is it you're only allowed to have one grunt type of unit in your roster, your 10-man roster or 10 character roster? I didn't see that. If you guys know, and maybe I missed it in the text, put it in the comments below. Super appreciate it. That right there, I could see possibility. I'm about 60% sure, maybe 70% sure it's not game breaking. I'm going to give it, I'll probably actually give it about let's just drop it down to about 20% chance that I could potentially be a little overpowered to go, oh, I just lost them. Same turn, summon somebody else. Especially if there's multiple characters later on. And now I've got, say, 4, and we're going to talk about that here in just a moment. I got 4 characters that can summon grunts. It's like, I don't know. It seems ridiculous, but it's a possibility. Speaking of speculating, let's talk and let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, because I might be missing some groups or some characters. Please let me know. I've got some possibilities I'd like to discuss concerning the various characters that could come along with some future grunts. So let's get into this right now. My first choice, if you're not familiar who this lovely lady is, she is played by Kelly Hu Hu. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. In the X2, the second X-Men movie with Hugh Jackman and all that whole cast in it, she played Lady Deathstrike. She was the Asian lady that had the long adamantine nails that came out, and she was super crazy looking and scary, but wonderful actress, and I'm not ashamed to say extremely beautiful. Oh, goodness gracious. Anyways, so Lady Deathstrike, super crazy cyborg lady. Another good example if you want to see her in action more with her comic book character costume, which you're seeing here. She's the lovely lady on the right with the brown or goldish and red costume, is the Hulk versus Wolverine animated movie that came out alongside the Hulk versus Thor animated movie. I think the Hulk versus Wolverine animated movie way better, but that you guys can put that in the comments below. So Lady Deathstrike, adamantine skeleton, souped up cybernetics. She is superhuman. That's how her cybernetics have pushed her to. She has cybernetic regeneration, cyberpathy, so she can basically communicate. Basically, she got Wi-Fi. She can communicate with anything with the Wi-Fi signals, essentially. And she really hates Wolverine. And then we have the Reavers. And I could be wrong about this, but the Reavers, I believe, were former members of the Hellfire Club that Wolverine had messed up when he went to do a rescue job or rescue mission. They are all cyborgs. They're all decked out. They really don't like mutants. And they super hate Wolverine. I think this is a good pairing. I can't think of another good pairing except for Donald Pierce, who's another member of the Reavers. But he's such a weird, obscure character. I don't see him fitting with this. Lady Deathstrike and the Reavers, I think, is the most ideal pairing to bring both of these characters into the Marvel Universe. Also, you saw the Reavers in the Logan movie. I don't think they call them the Reavers, but all those guys with the cybernetics, those were the Reavers. And that guy that was chasing him all the time, that had the cybernetic arm, I think they called him Donald Pierce. So, hey, look at that. We came full circle. So that's my first pick. Next pick, Crossbones and or Red Skull and Hydrations. That I got the wording all wrong there in that graphic, but that's okay. I think Crossbones over Red Skull, reason being is they're doing the rival packs. So far we have Dr. Octopus and the Amazing Spider-Man in a box together with the new sculpts to replace the old sculpts from the core box. Do you need them? No, but you get you get a lot of great snazzy upgraded cards, some full art cards, alternate art cards, foil cards, new gorgeous sculpts, a terrain piece, really cool box, really ideal for getting into the game in my personal opinion, or to replace models. I think we'll see Steve Rogers Captain America versus Red Skull in a similar box. So Crossbones being the more likely, since his character was in that box as well. There's also Madame Hydra and Sin, the daughter of Red Skull, but they got a model, I think, sometime last year or the year before, so they really don't need an upgrade. But Crossbones does. His model's kind of, but you know what? It's okay. I think those two and Hydra agents, how they're going to behave, I don't know. I think they're probably going to have a better firepower type of thing, and probably where they can't do the extract. Maybe they get a bonus for they might be the ones that can contest a secure. They might be able to override that ability. Who knows? Who knows? If you can think of another character that'd be good, maybe Baron von Strucker, but he's also associated with AIM. Also, believe it or not, at some point. But I think we'll see Baron von Strucker. Well, there's always, oh yeah, I should have put him in there. Baron, he's in the box. Man, I totally forgot about him. All right, I'm just going to move on embarrassingly. So I thought about Advanced Idea Mechanics, or AIM. And as I did my research, there's a lot of small bit characters. Most of their top leadership are actual named AIM agents, but nobody really super villainy level of recognition, with the exception of MODOK. And I doubt they're going to redo that amazing MODOK model or attach AIM to MODOK. Okay, so how would we resolve this? Well, they could just do, an AIM scientist or AIM soldier leader type to go along with this, or we might see it in this other box I'm going to mention here shortly. Actually, I can mention it now. I think if we can't find a reason to include Hydra or AIM agents, right? That, with a appropriate villain, we could just see a grunt box that could come out where it's got two grunt bases, let's say AIM and Hydra agents, and their appropriate cards and who their character is. Probably not, but it's a possibility I'd like to at least humor. The only other character kind of associated with AIM is really that I could find and look into is a character named Graviton. I was thinking he was kind of like Magneto, but not really. It's more of a gravity based. He can I think he'd be kind of a troll type character where he can control people's movements or immobilize. He can pick up stuff and throw it across the board. I mean, he's a pretty high powered leveled character. I mean, the guy's got a range of like almost 3 miles with his powers and covering about 55 square miles. So the guy's pretty gosh darn powerful. I think he had lifted up Manhattan Island at one point, so extremely freaking powerful. Gravity is a scary thing. So I think Graviton on the low end, that's the only other one I could think of. If you've got a better idea for an AIM villain, maybe like Anaconda. I don't even know if they would include Anaconda or Bushmaster. I don't know if it's Bushmaster or Viper. There's a couple of characters from the Serpent Society or the Secret Serpent Society that had killed MODOK at one point in the comics. That was a while back, but maybe one of them, but I doubt it. So let me know what you guys think about that one. The last one is not really just one. It's a group that I want to talk about. So we got Dr. Doom here, left to right. Dr. Doom I think is a possibility, but he's kind of a powerhouse in himself. Super genius, mystically trained. I mean, he's not on. I mean, he's kind of a little bit lower level, I guess, if you want to go level wise, game mechanic wise, or like D&D wise, than Doctor Strange. But he's extremely competent and powerful sorcerer. Tech genius, and then he's got all that amazing tech. But who would be his people, or his minions or grunts? Would be his Doombots. He has a bunch of decoys that are very similar in appearance to what you're seeing there. Other versions of him are just a robot version of him without all the cape and everything. So we could see Doctor Doom and Doombots, kind of on the low end there. The next one is the lovely, fiery, amazing, you might guess that I like this character, Madeline Pryor. She is a clone of Jean Grey. After Jean Grey had died, became the Phoenix, even though she wasn't the Phoenix yet, Mr. Sinister created a clone of Jean Grey so they can make a baby with Scott Summers. All this bad stuff happened. She had a thing with Havoc, Scott Summers, or Cyclops' brother. She went to the Limbo, took over Limbo, came back as the Goblin Queen, had all this magic, summoning demons to the world. That was the original Inferno storyline back in the 80s, 90s, not the current one that was out like last year. Extremely powerful, deadly, insanely beautiful, insanely insane character, very vicious, very amazing. I would love to see her either appear with Havoc or appear with demons as a grunt base, which would be awesome. I'm gonna flip out when I see these characters, her and or Havoc. They're in my top 10 characters that are must-haves for anything. I really love these characters. They're absolutely amazing, and the artwork doesn't hurt. All right, moving on as I kind of cool myself off here. We have Hammerhead. Does he look like he's got a squat head? Yes. Look up the character. He's a Spider-Man, Daredevil, street level type of villain. He's got this flat hammerhead. It's really funny. You talk about those back in the day of those characters. We got him and Tombstone and a couple other characters. They were part of at various times, either with Kingpin or I think it's called Magia or Magia. Basically, it's the mafia for the Marvel Universe. So we could see him with a group of thugs or, mobsters, that sort of thing. It's a weak choice, but I wanted to at least give it a chance before somebody jumped in and was like, no, John, don't forget about Hammerhead and the mobsters. I got you guys. Last up is, if you watch the Punisher TV show on Netflix or watch the I could technically be the third Punisher movie with Ray Stevenson, the first being Dolph Lundgren and then Thomas Jane. Anyways, the villain in both that movie, the third movie, and the TV show, or I think it was second season, was Jigsaw. Guy got all sorts of effed up in his face. Kind of crazy, kind of insane. We could see him running around with mercenaries. Mercenaries could be the great catch-all for the various mercenary organizations. One I did not put up on here, and I just thought about when I mentioned mercenaries, is the mercenary / hero. I don't want to say hero, but hero, Silver Sable. She's from a European country. She's got her own organization. She has her own mercenary group. I think they're really kind of on the good side, but they're mercenaries, so they still get paid to do a job. But she is highly trained mercenaries. I put them on the level of shield and equipment and level and such like that. She's a Spider-Man-ish and Deadpool-ish ally. We could see that later on. So let me know what you guys think of this round of characters and the ones before. Maybe I missed something, especially with AIM. I feel like I'm missing something with AIM. And I spent about 45 minutes to an hour researching AIM, and I just couldn't find it. And I'm sure I'm going to kick myself. What other organizations are out there that I might have missed? And I'm not talking like the police or the military, CIA, that sort of thing. I'm talking about things like this. Do you guys think possibility? Let me know also in the comments below. Do you think we could see... I think it's called Damage Control. It's that organization that goes around and picks up the pieces after fights. Juggernaut right now in his comics is working with them, kind of like paying his debt back to society. So we could see him with Damage Control, but I doubt that, because that would just basically be civilians with like sledgehammers and shovels and such. I don't know. But let me know what you guys think about these characters. Maybe I missed some of the other ones that have grunts or minions. And I will chat with you guys. Let's see here. We'll do another video later on. I'm going to try to be streaming some more videos in the future, but let me know what you guys think about this. I've got a new series of videos I'm going to be putting out. I'm working on the format right now and a new overlay that it is not a some people might take it personally, but it's basically doing some hot takes on Marvel in general and other games. I'm not going to just target Marvel Crisis Protocol. There's a lot of games out there that we need to have a discussion about. Anyways, my name is John, Havoc Maker Studio and FMP Wargamers. If you have not hit that red subscribe button right now, go ahead and hit it so it's not red anymore. We don't want that. Red is not good. So go ahead and hit that, leave a comment, thumbs up or thumbs down, dislike, but at least leave me a comment and hit that subscribe button. See you all later.